In today's video, I'm going to tell you why it is that you can understand the language, but you cannot speak. So many students have this problem, and I see them get frustrated over and over again. They get to a certain level in a language like English and just can't actually make the words come out of their mouth in a fluent manner. And the truth is, nobody ever tells you why this is. Not your teachers, nobody online. I've watched other videos. Nobody's actually explaining why it is that you can understand language, but you can't speak. So in today's video, I'm just going to break it down as simple as possible, how you practice speaking and what you can do to solve this problem so that your speaking is clear and fluent and you will be amazing, I promise. So what am I talking about? Well, the truth is that speaking is a skill. There are 4 skills you need to understand when you're learning a language. You have speaking, you have writing, they're the production where you need to produce something, and you have listening and reading. That's more when there's input coming in to you. So like any skill, you need to practice it. There's a bit of knowledge, you need to combine the knowledge and then practice it. So think about this for an example. If you want to learn the guitar, right? If you watch 100 videos on the guitar on YouTube, can you play the guitar? No, you can't. You can't even pick up the guitar. You still don't know how to hold the guitar. How do you learn how to play the guitar? You put the guitar in your hand and you practice and practice and practice and practice until you just know how to play the guitar, right? I've learned the guitar and that's how it works. The more practice, the better. And speaking a foreign language is the same. So you can watch 100 videos about learning English on YouTube, watch movies, series, whatever you want to do over and over again. But in this case, you're practicing, you're listening, you're not practicing your speaking because your language is different to English. The way that your tongue moves, the way that your mouth moves is different in each language. I've learned 3, 4, 5 languages, spent lots of years, many years living in Brazil, in Spain, speaking Portuguese, speaking Spanish, and I know that the sounds are different. My mouth had to learn how to make these sounds. It's subtle. It's not a big difference sometimes between these languages, but let's say Japanese or something. That's quite a big difference in the way that your mouth needs to change. So it's going to be more difficult for a Japanese person to learn English than maybe a Spanish person because the words are similar in the way that we move our mouths. Now I have this conversation with people and people don't believe me. They say, no, speaking is something that we always knew how. It's not something we always knew how to do. I was a baby once. I couldn't speak English. I had to practice moving my mouth. I had to learn from my parents and mimic. I used to repeat. Every child repeats. Why? So they can practice the sounds of the language. So if you're thinking about yourself and your language skills, think about how much time you actually spend speaking. Because I know when I learned languages in school, I spent almost 0% of the time actually speaking the language. We spent many hours writing different exercises and then whoa, at the end of the school, then I had to speak for 30 minutes in a different language and I was terrible because I didn't get to practice. And I understand that if there's 30 people in a classroom, it's quite difficult, right? If you have smaller classrooms, maybe you do get some speaking. It depends on your country. But for the most part, you don't actually speak the language. You don't speak with native speakers. So you never really get the real practice that actually makes a difference. So when I'm learning a language, the first thing I really want to do when I'm thinking about speaking is speak one-on-one to a person. When I speak one-on-one, they can be slow, talk slower. If I don't understand, they can explain a certain word. And that takes a lot of building up to get to that level where you feel comfortable speaking one-on-one. But then there's a group setting. A group setting is much more difficult. And the reason it's difficult is the conversation is more dynamic. There could be many people talking. Maybe you try to understand what person A says and then person B says, and your brain is working a little bit slower in a second language. So you need practice again. You need to be in group settings a lot to try to practice this skill. Also, changing languages. That was something I found difficult because I could speak one language with one person and then another language to another person. That was difficult because my brain had no practice at that skill. Another skill is changing languages. So again, that's quite a specific thing that not often you need to do that, but it's impressive when people can do that. Why can they do that? Because they have been in that situation many times and they have practiced it. Okay, so I think you get the idea of what I'm trying to say now. If you believe me, I don't know. I hope you do. But how can we practice speaking? Okay, so you can practice speaking by meeting friends, practicing the language. That's good if they're really interested in the language too. You go to language meetups, many of them are in many cities around the world. You can book an online teacher, practice speaking with them. Only problem is that can be expensive. But anyway, if you can afford one class per week, then that's good. You're practicing. I promise you, you'll make more progress in your speaking. But look out for your teachers. Some teachers just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and that's not good, okay? Because you are the one that should be talking. So if you have a teacher that talks a lot, then, either try to tell them. I know that's difficult. Personally, I would just book another teacher. There's a million teachers of every language online now. So another solution that I have for you is to use AI, okay? The benefits of AI are that you can practice at your own pace. The main reason that people don't get the practice that they need is A, because they didn't know that they were supposed to be practicing speaking all the time, but also because they don't want to look stupid. And I understand that. I've taught classes for 10, 15 years, and you can always see people get nervous when they have to speak in front of a big crowd, 15 people, 20 people that they don't really know in a foreign language that they're not very good at. So that's like the biggest problem, the biggest obstacle that people have when they want to practice speaking. In a classroom environment, there's 20 people looking at you and you have to practice speaking. Yeah, you don't feel very good about that. You don't feel confident about that, do you? So one of the solutions I have for you is to practice speaking with an AI avatar. So you can practice at your own pace and just keep practicing, keep speaking all the time. If you do this 30 minutes, an hour a day, you will notice your language learning skills will improve, but especially your speaking skills. Okay, remember, practice the speaking. Your listening is probably okay because you've watched TV series like English, for example, is everywhere. So you've probably just listened to English from just being alive in the world today. So the AI tool that we're going to use to practice our speaking is called Talkio AI, and we can do a role play. We can talk about a topic. So let's just talk about a topic here. Let's talk about travel experience and favorite destinations. So this is my AI avatar here. You can change the settings if you want to pick a different person. So all you need to do is press speak here and you start having a conversation. My favorite place is Spain. I love the food, the weather, and the people are very friendly.
Spain sounds wonderful. What specifically about the Spanish cuisine did you enjoy the most?
So as you can hear, the AI talks back to you. If for some reason you don't know what to say, you can just press suggestion on what to say. But don't just copy this in because you need to practice your speaking. That's the whole point of this video, okay? I really enjoyed the variety of tapas and the seafood paella. Have you ever tried any traditional Spanish dishes?
Yes, I've tried paella and loved it. The flavors are incredible. How do you compare it to the typical dishes from Ireland?
Okay, so you can see how the conversation goes. All you need to do is just keep talking and listening, and you will improve your speaking. If there is a word that you don't know, you just need to click on it like this, and you can get a definition, translation. You can hear it again. You can save it to your workbook and practice. And you can also use this feature where you get a description so you can learn more about what this word actually means. So you can get more information here about paella in this case. The great thing about this is if you feel shy, if you feel nervous, then this is a great tool to just practice. Okay, it's not exactly like talking with a human being because humans often we have different ideas in our head and we don't really follow the context very well. Although in this case, she changed the topic, started talking about Ireland, which is my country, which is very good. But one of the most difficult things about talking in a second language is that people can just bring up a topic that you hadn't really thought about, and it was just difficult to understand the context. Maybe there was no context. I found that's probably one of the most challenging things to understand, make your brain work, and then speak. So some people think pronunciation is a very important part of learning a language. For me, I don't think it's a very important part, because if you're practicing speaking all the time, then you're always practicing your pronunciation. So yeah, my motto is speak, 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 and then you will eventually have good pronunciation. But we can use pronunciation to help us with more difficult words. So my setting is set to advanced, so this will be quite difficult. Let's try and see how it goes. Cultivating a thriving garden requires not only diligence and patience, but also a keen understanding of the subtle nuances of soil composition and regional climate variations, ensuring that every plant can reach its fullest potential. Oh, that was very difficult. So sometimes when this is the feedback you get, so it seemed to think that I didn't say potential very well. Anyway, you will get feedback on the words. This is good because sometimes difficult sentences, right? These are all difficult sentences here. And these are the ones that are difficult, I find, when I'm practicing Spanish or something like that. It's not like the one word by itself that I find difficult to pronounce, but making a full sentence with the correct rhythm, and then trying to say a longer word or a word that I haven't practiced enough. So this will definitely give you more and more practice speaking. So do you agree with what I'm saying? Is speaking a skill that needs to be practiced? And that's the reason why you can understand more than you can speak. Please let me know down in the comments. I would love to read how you are progressing in English or any other language. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. This is 1 Minute English. My name is Connor. Thank you. Bye bye.